good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're listening from in the world. It's PremPods again, back with another video. Today we're reviewing Game Week 13. A lot of unexpected fixtures, to say the least. Results, sorry. So yeah, let's get straight into it.
The first game, which I know you want to kind of skip over as much as possible, is Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool.
Yes, that was probably the most unexpected result of the game week for sure. Again, 12:30 kickoffs.
I told you don't like them.
12:30 kickoffs are a nuisance to anyone. But also, I think I mentioned actually in the last video that we did that we hadn't won at Nottingham Forest ground before in modern era.
You hadn't won there? Is it just because you hadn't played there for like years, or you haven't?
How
many times have you actually played?
Draws. I think it was like 4 or 5 from like recent memory, but it was all draws. Or we lost, and again, it proved again.
Yeah, Taiwo Awani. I want to say that's his name. He's probably going to tell me that I'm saying it wrong. Awani is not a bad guess in my estimation.
He used to play for Liverpool as well. Never actually played a game, I don't think, for Liverpool. But yeah, his recent signing from Union Berlin, who are top of the league.
Yeah, they're doing well. They're point above, but Bayern Munich, I think. But yeah, 55 minutes in, Liverpool go 1-0 down. All the fans are probably thinking, yeah, we're just going to score 2, grab it back. Nothing happened.
Yeah,
nothing happened.
I think that was the problem with. Well, I think to be fair, Forest fans probably would have liked them to score a bit later on in the game, so they didn't have
all that time.
Almost like 35 minutes to camp in their own box and try and see out a result. But they did very well. I was watching the game, and a part of me felt like it was going to end up as a draw. Just eventually we were going to be able to get a goal. But yeah, Dean Henderson was doing brilliant in goal.
Yeah,
we weren't hitting corners, so it gave him a better opportunity to make them saves as well. But you can't take anything away from him again actually making the saves.
No, definitely not.
Alisson, again, the best player on the pitch for Liverpool, not as a whole, just for us. Proven time and time again.
It could have been 3-0.
Yeah, he's saved us so many occasions where we've won games and everything's kind of forgotten because we won the game and maybe we haven't even conceded. But now that we're actually conceding
and not outscoring,
it's so much more clear how important someone like Alisson in goal at the minute is being for us, because they could have had 2 or 3, like you say.
Yeah, again, and Nottingham Forest had 10 shots on target. Against Liverpool's pretty decent, and Liverpool had 15. Total shots that they took was 10, and Liverpool took 15.
Yeah.
The amount of shots on target was 7 apiece. So you lot kind of did well to get 7 shots on target away, but I would be expecting a few more to have been scored. And obviously, you just spoke about Alisson, which is why they haven't scored more. And the same for why you haven't even scored was because how well Dean Henderson played.
Yeah.
So it was really like how good the goalies were that the game stayed 1-0.
Again, you see with the possession as well, 76 to 24 for the home team.
Crazy.
But that's how these teams have. We've always said how these teams can play against us. We've had this problem numerous times, and it's never really been solved. Maybe for like a year or 2, we were consistently beating the teams that we should. Now it seems like we've reverted back to the days where we're playing these lower league table teams, and then just we're not having enough. They're more than happy to camp in their own half, wait for us to just basically open ourselves up for a counter attack, and it works. It wasn't exactly that's how it went for this game in particular, but that's just been the way that teams that are in the lower half of the table would play against us, and it normally is successful. Yeah, so when we play these lower league table teams, they just know how to set up, it seems. It's not hard. I don't know why. We've said it, I think, multiple times now, actually, why teams that in the upper end of the table don't play that way as well. Just wait for us to make a mistake, and then we can be open for the counter. Because we're very much like City in that regard. If we haven't scored by 50, 60 minutes, if the game's still 0-0, we get desperate. More players get put forward. There's more space at the back for opposition players to work with. And it's just a matter of time where it keeps going, minute, keep passing. You get to like the 80th minute, and you're just thinking, it's not going to be our day.
No,
It's not. So
not going to score.
You're
And
almost-
Henderson was unbelievable as well.
Yeah.
To be fair to him, but before we move on to the next game, we got this completely wrong.
Yeah.
I said
100%.
4-1 Liverpool. You said 4-0.
Yeah.
I gave them a credit of scoring, but they conceded 4 at the same
closest that
time.
we were in it. That Forest scored.
Yeah, both of us got
Yeah.
0 points for that one. Bad game week for Liverpool. Hopefully, they can kind of change it this week. Really.
Well, that's what you
That's what
thought
we
was,
hope for.
was coming after Man City and in West Ham. 2 very difficult games. Coming away without even conceding, winning both games. You're going into Forest, bottom of the table. This is the game that you should now cement that turnaround of form in it. You go and beat Forest 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, something like we predicted. And that kind of cements, okay, everyone will believe, right, these lot kind of half turn it around now. Now we move on to the next fixture.
Yeah.
And the rest could have been forgotten.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Could've,
You win
could've.
3 games in a row, even this game against Forest, and everyone is talking about, okay, Liverpool can easily get back in this top 4 again.
Yeah, yeah. If you keep winning, but
That result
is mental.
that takes us so many more steps back. I
Yeah,
think that,
definitely.
Yeah.
But for kind of not getting you depressed today, I'll move on to the next fixture because that was horrible. So that was like they deserve to win in it. They actually deserve to win.
Well, but, again, what was the XG for this game?
I actually have no idea.
I can try and find it out.
I have no idea what the XG was. Well, I think theirs would probably might be higher than yours, only based off the fact that they kind of had a few chances that were a bit more tricky, but then their goal was like a rebound off the post, and he knocked it in. So I'm not too sure what the XG would probably be for that game, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, it's not great for Liverpool, to be honest with you. Not great at
They
all.
beat us in XG.
They beat you in XG as well.
Yeah, Forest had 2.5 XG. We had 2.2.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, they beat you in every aspect.
It should have been a higher goal scoring game than it was. In that even goes by even like the shots on target and stuff like that. Within the shots that we've taken after last week, I think there was horrible stats. That's almost like 50% for both teams, isn't it? Last week we was closer to 15 or 20%, whereas there's better quality shots being taken, or even just from closer areas, and kind of like the XG stats back that up as well.
And if you followed my tip didn't work. I apologise. You got subbed off 10 minutes after he scored the goal. Not enough time to get a yellow.
You just
Just
thought
not
he
enough
might have
time.
took the shirt off or something. You never know.
He's gonna go yellow, well,
Actually, I remember his celebration was very low key.
Yeah.
Very,
He just,
very
yeah,
quiet.
it was
So.
nice. It was a good celebration, to be fair. He just walked around. Next game we move on to is your sort of local rivals. Everton went to Palace. I said 1-1 and you said 0-0.
So yeah,
So we started off this week horrible because the actual result was 3-0 Everton. And I did not see this coming.
No.
I predicted that they would beat Everton last week because I thought they would kind of do something away and kind of counter Tottenham's fact that they like to sit back. So they would just kind of catch them on the break. But this I did not expect because Crystal Palace very much have very similar attack force.
Well, you'd say Palace probably have a better attacking team than
Very
than
similar, if you get what I mean. They play on the counter fast, which
I
is
think
what
they have
Everton.
I'm outright saying I think they have a better attacking.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Than Everton.
Yeah, Eze, Zaha, Edard, like all them
Elise.
people, Elise are better than the Everton players for me.
For me as well, but obviously, these games happen. Everton at home, 3-0. We wasn't sure how the Vieira-Lampard kind of that duel was going to work out. I think people kind of make a lot more of that than what it actually is, and these things can happen. I was surprised Palace didn't even score.
Same.
But you can see there's loads of cards in the game. I did see
Loads.
there's a big bust up. I think I've seen on Sky Sports News recently both teams have been charged for not controlling their players.
Wow.
There was a big bust up like that. So it was a strange game really, just all round.
But 11 minutes,
Everton,
literally.
I wouldn't.
Close.
Nah, 3-0 Everton, I wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have guessed that. No, I thought it would be a lot closer than this. But 11 minutes in, Calvert-Lewin scored.
Yeah.
63 minutes in, Gordon scores one.
So
And then near the end,
there's
Dwight
decent
McNeil.
gaps in it between the goals, and
So they could have came back if they wanted to. It wasn't like bam, 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 and you're just down.
yeah,
You had time to to try and get back in the game. But
Yeah.
looking at the stats, we've got both teams nine shots total. And then we've got 6 shots on target from Everton and only 2 from Palace. So you can understand why they weren't even giving themselves a chance. Like Everton's gone on and scored 50% out of
same
6.
total shots. Palace more possession, which again, with their footballing, it doesn't really surprise me that they have more possession. Mm-hmm. But again, you would expect kind of Everton to have more possession being at home and winning 3-0 in the game. They had the same shots. 6 on target for Everton, 2 for Palace. Yeah, I don't know. Again, like I say, it's a strange one. I would have always expected Palace at least to get 1 in that game.
Everton are now above Palace.
I wouldn't have expected. If Palace didn't score 1, I wasn't expecting Everton to score 3. To be honest, but it's the Premier League, isn't it? And now Everton are now above Palace in the table.
Yeah, they're 12th. Palace are 13th, so they kind of leapfrog.
So it's a very good win for Everton. Needed. 3-0, like it looks like a clear victory. Also, keeping a clean sheet as well at home, important. So yeah, they just have to keep knocking on.
I think it's good. It's a good start. They'll probably
take that at this moment in time.
Yeah,
they'll take that at this moment in time. Just below mid-table, or 12th, 13th. It's not hard to get into the top half with the points that are on the board at the minute.
No.
You can move around a lot at this moment in time.
Definitely. But no, good result for Everton. Let's see what they can do this week. Moving on to the next game, we thought this was going to be kind of high scoring. We didn't even give a chance for Brighton to score. I said 5-0, you said 4-0. It was actually 3-1.
Yeah.
Haaland again
2
with a brace. Always scoring.
We felt sorry for whoever was playing City after the Liverpool game.
Yeah.
And again, Haaland 2 goals on his comeback game. Who got the other one? De Bruyne.
That was a great goal as well.
Yeah.
Took it out of his feet and just smashed it top corner. That was a great goal.
So yeah, City were 2-0 up at half time.
Yeah.
For me, normally the game's dead, innit? At Etihad, 2-0 down to City at half time, the game's pretty much dead.
And then Trossard scored a great goal though.
But he started to come back into the game. It looked like there could have been something there for Brighton. Trossard's been in good form as well, scored a hat-trick against us. But then De Bruyne just goes and kills the game off, really.
Yeah, it was...
kind of expected. We didn't even give Palace... What did I say? 4-0?
Oh, Brighton, we didn't give Brighton a chance. Didn't give them a chance. I said 5-0, you said 4-0.
Yeah.
We both got a point because we've got the result right, which is City winning, which is probably not hard for us to guess right at this moment in time. But yeah, City had a little bit more possession, which I'm kind of surprised by. They had 52% and Brighton had 48%, which is not bad for Brighton, to be honest, even though they're at home.
Brighton had more possession.
No, City had just a bit more possession. So is that Brighton at home or City?
Brighton are away, innit? So.
Oh, Brighton had more possession. Wow, I was looking at the other way around.
Yeah.
So Brighton had more possession than City.
Again,
that's maybe why they grabbed that goal.
Yeah, but
just took their chance, innit?
Possession, as we've seen, it's kind of pointless if you're not creating chances, if you're not doing effective things. We had 74%, 76%, Forest 24%, and they come out 1-0 winners. Yeah. Brighton got the better of City in the possession games, but we're probably nowhere near them really in the game. And 3-1's a clear enough result.
Is pretty clear. 10 shots for City in total, 8 shots for Brighton in total. Only 2 of those were on target for Brighton, and 4 out of the 10 were on target for City. So pretty poor in terms of like City as well. Only 40%.
When you actually go into it again, shots on target, so 3 goals. They scored 75% of their shots on target. Brighton 1 for 2, so 50%.
It's not bad, isn't it? When you go deeper,
And I think Haaland again is showing that Haaland is that extra 25%, or do you know what I mean? He's
the reason
way more clinical than a lot of other strikers maybe they've had in the past, apart from Aguero.
Aguero and Ederson getting the assist for the first goal.
Yeah,
Ederson Haaland goal.
Shades of Alisson.
Literally,
he must have. Yeah.
Ederson to Haaland and goal. That's probably going to see that a lot of times this year. One long kick up and Haaland goal. But no, another result for City, staying right behind us. So they just apart from the Liverpool result.
This is the problem with City. Once they have one of them kind of results where massively disappointing to come and lose at Anfield in the form that we're in and the form that they're in. So this is where City, for me, go on and just they don't lose.
Dominate.
They don't lose until I don't know.
Till they come to the Emirates or we go to the
January
Etihad,
or something. They don't lose until February or something now because of the World Cup.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's probably going to be a stat that we hear of. But yeah, let's see what they can do. It's been fun staying ahead of them for now. Let's see how long we do actually stay up there for. Next game, massive game. Chelsea versus Man United. You said 2-2.
Yeah.
I said 1-1. And it was 1-1. So I finally, have you got, I don't think any of us have got a correct score.
Yet, no.
This is our first week after 3 weeks of doing it, I believe, or 2 weeks of doing it. We've got a bloody correct score. I'm happy to celebrate.
1-1.
And it was 1-1
as well.
And then they only scored really late.
Really close.
Like the first goal was 87.
94,
and the last 94.
Yeah.
Mental game. I thought there would be kind of a lot more goals in the first half than there actually was, but leaving it that late, I'm happy with a point, to be honest with you, in terms of looking at it from an Arsenal
fan. Of course, yeah. Draws are the best thing. We've said it before. You don't want teams. Obviously, you want teams losing, but you don't want teams winning. And sometimes draws is good for other teams around you. It's not good for you yourself, but it's good for everyone, for other teams around you to draw.
Yeah, exactly.
Take points off each other as well.
And then Chelsea and United both right next to each other, 5th and 6th in the table. There's a point in it between them, and that point just stayed the same basically because no one took anything.
Exactly,
which is good for everyone else around them, like you're saying. 53% possession to United, and then 47% possession to Chelsea. Not really in that. That's like I'm surprised by the fact that an away team has got more possession.
It's getting similar to the City game, isn't it?
Yeah, and the results stayed fairly neutral in terms of a draw. Like they haven't actually got more possession away and won. They've got more possession away and still drawn. So that kind of tells you a little bit.
Well, United seem to have more to give.
Yeah.
To that game, more to offer. They looked more threatening. Chelsea are always good at home. Really, they're fairly consistent, and against big teams, the fans are up for it. Like the pitch is really close. It's a decent atmosphere for big games. For Chelsea, even like just watching it on TV, you can tell the atmosphere is kind of bouncing for these games. And at the end, it gave us that kind of moment as well. 94th minute equaliser. United players celebrating like they won the Premier League.
Yeah.
In the 11th game. But it's a massive game, isn't it? And you've not lost. So you've gone from a position of having nothing, and then right at the death, you've managed to get something from that game and take away what you thought your rivals was going to gain from the game.
Exactly, and they're probably all buzzing the fact that it was Casemiro. I think the club, innit?
Yeah, I think they've got them type of players now that they buzz off moments like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Looking at the total shots in the game, we've got 6 for Chelsea, 13 for United away. Do you see what I mean? How much having that extra 3% possession must give you. But then, how do you use that extra 3% and that extra 7 shots? You don't. You score the same goals. No, as in it's 13 shots in total and 6 for Chelsea. They had 7 shots more than them.
Oh yeah.
And the 3% extra possession.
6% possession. That's what I'm saying to you.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry, I'm going as 50%.
No, yeah.
6% possession extra and another 7 shots, but you've ended up with the same goals.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is strange to me. And then on target 6 for United, and Chelsea had 2 on target. So Chelsea have done pretty well in terms of converting 2 into a goal.
One of their shots on target was a penalty, and the goal was a penalty.
There you go.
So that massively
tells you about the game,
chances in it. Really.
There you go. And Jorginho doesn't really miss pens either.
No, I think Casemiro's goal was good. It was strange how he actually got it, but yeah, it was brilliant how he managed to head it in there at the end.
It was a good game, but I thought there'd be more goals. But as I say, as an Arsenal
these
fan,
games can happen as well.
Yeah, it could have been 3-3.
You see it as well from the shots. Maybe they weren't taking too many. If they were taking too many long shots and stuff, obviously that kind of skews them stats. But total shots for Chelsea 6 in the 90-minute game.
Man United got the same on target away.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not good really.
But it's a difficult game. United and like I say, United, similar to Chelsea, they've been managing to get themselves a lot more motivated for these games than other games. So, and it shouldn't be hard to do that. I don't think it is any harder. It's probably harder to motivate yourself for the other games.
At Bournemouth,
Fulham, stuff like that. These games are, you don't need any motivation for these
games.
Yeah,
all your fans are buzzing.
Motivation.
The people in the stadium are buzzing. Twitter's probably buzzing if the footballers are on social media. So Everyone knows kind of that it's coming up, the big game. Moving on to the Wolves-Leicester game. It was, well, I'll tell you what we did. I said 1-1. You said 2-1 Wolves. And we got this completely wrong. Because it was 4-0 Leicester. Again, like the Everton game.
Yeah.
No idea that this was coming.
No.
Obviously, Leicester have scored now 21 goals after this 4. Which when you look at it, you're like, okay, yeah, that's pretty decent to be fair. But they haven't actually like gone on to win these games and like actually climb up the table. Like, I'm not too sure what's happening at Leicester. It's obviously might be something to do with they didn't bring anyone in and they're kind of using the same squad every week.
Yeah.
But then
You've got players that like a lot of the Premier League teams are familiar with now as well. So, when you don't actually refresh your squad like that, you do. Teams almost they know how to play against you because it's the same players they've been playing against for 3 or 4 years now.
For ages, yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
And then when you're playing teams like Liverpool, you're saying that Leicester kind of struggle to do well. But this just shows you that there's still a quality gap.
That's what I'm saying. We've said that before. As well. Leicester are a brilliant team on their day.
Yeah.
And when they can get it all working together. I mean, Tielemans scored a screamer early on. That kind of sets the tone for the day. Barnes again getting on the score sheet. Like he's been key. Maddison, four of your like key players really in their squad. And I think it's their best players. Them 4 players that scored against Wolves are their best players by quite a bit for me.
I like Dewsbury Hall got the assist as well.
Yeah, Dewsbury Hall was a good player. Vardy not as much so nowadays, but he still is always a threat. They just haven't been able to kind of find that link. But 4 goals away against Wolves is massive.
It's a great result, to be honest with you. I honestly didn't see it coming. And when we look into the stats a bit more deeper, we can see that Wolves only had 39% possession. So if you're other way around?
Yeah.
Oh, Wolves and sorry, you're putting me on the table. I'm doing it the wrong way around on here. So you're telling me Leicester had what?
And look at the shots.
Leicester had 39% possession. Wolves had 61%. Total shots was 21 for Wolves and 5 for Leicester. But then there you go. If you apply that same principle that Leicester have got on target, so total shots for Leicester 5, shots on target 4.
I need to see this. Yeah, go on.
That's 80% of their shots have been on target. If you apply that same...
And then 100% of their shots on target
are goals. And then if you apply that same thing to Wolves, they should have had about 17, 18 shots on target. They took 21 shots and only 6 on target at home. Where are they shooting from? The goalie, the goal kick? What are they doing? That doesn't make any sense to me when I'm seeing these stats nowadays. 21 shots. Not only have you only got 6 on target, of those 6, you scored none. How?
So look at this, yeah? This is what makes it interesting. This is why XG figures and people are speaking about XG a lot more nowadays and it is becoming more mainstream media and stuff like that. But I still think some people don't have a full understanding of what it represents as well. But, so just to give you some insight on that, Leicester 4-0, yeah? The XG figures, Wolverhampton 1.62 and Leicester 0.99. Their XG was not even was just about expected to be 1 goal. So what that is telling you
Within that game?
Within that game. What that's telling you is Leicester's goals came from
hard.
Like Tielemans' screamer, that's the first one.
Okay.
And chances like that.
Okay.
So Leicester is, and again, possession, the total shots. Leicester were lucky to win this game.
And it was 4.
It was, exactly. They were lucky to win this game 4-0. Even just to win it.
And they scored 4, yeah, so score 1, they would have overachieved.
Yeah.
Based off XG, they would have overachieved.
Not overachieved, they would have achieved because 0.99.
0.99. But then, so by that definition, Wolves did underachieve then.
Massively.
Because they got 1 point what?
1.62.
So you're talking you should have got 1.
So Leicester, pretty much Wolves had like three or 4 basically almost clear-cut chances to win the game, and Leicester scored from positions where they shouldn't have, really. That's what that tells you. So these games don't happen. This happens so often in football where teams batter other teams with possession, with the amount of shots that they have and stuff, but if you're not taking... And obviously on the other side of things, teams can have players that can score from 30 yards or 25 yards in difficult situations. Stuff like that can happen, but yeah.
And from this result, 4-0 Leicester, they've moved up in the table. They've leapfrogged Wolves, who would have been above them. Now they're on 11 points. And they've taken a nice chunk out of their goal difference because they would have been on -7 going into this game. Now they're on -3.
Yeah.
So really close to getting back to 0 and then going positive. So for me, it seems like out of all the teams I've been looking at and who's been getting the results, like Leicester have actually done all right, to be honest with you. Like they've drawn the week before that. I think on game week 11.
That's the thing. Yeah, they can put it together. They
Yeah.
can put it together. They can get results like this. They have got quality individual players that can provide moments of individual brilliance. So it doesn't surprise me that the game was kind of went like that, and that it won't be long before Leicester start climbing up the table again. It shouldn't be long.
No.
I'm not saying it won't be. I don't know that for future for sure, but it shouldn't be. They've got some quality players that if at least 4 players are all there and on it, they can carry the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Easily.
Well, we'll see. Fun fixture coming up for them. They got City next.
Well,
so
they normally perform pretty well against City. They don't get bad. Now that we're saying that, they're probably going to get smoked 4-0 themselves. But yeah, they normally perform well. They don't really let too many goals in against City. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll do another video on that one for match day 14. But no, well done, Leicester. Moving up the table and hopefully we see you in the top half.
Taking chances and scoring from chances where it was you shouldn't have been scoring from. So yeah,
doing well, to be honest with you. Moving on to the next game, Ellen Road. We had Leeds versus Fulham. I said 2-1 Leeds. You said 1-1. Another game which we've got completely wrong.
What did you say? 2-1.
I said 2-1 Leeds.
I think I'm sure I said in the last video as well that I was saying 1-1, but it could be 2-2 or it could be 3
Probably
like
yeah.
that
Because we weren't saying about in the Championship. That's what your point was.
They're 2 former Championship rivals basically. They were always at the top end of the Championship.
Goals.
So it was always going to be a goal fest.
Galore.
But I didn't think it was. I just felt they weren't going to have enough for each other almost.
I get exactly what you mean.
Or too much, and then they'll just end up cancelling each other out. But in the end, Fulham came away with a good victory away from home.
Yeah, that's a great victory against a team you'd say that would probably, on paper, when they're looking at early in the season, they're probably saying we're picking up 3 points there.
I think if you probably asked players, apart from City and maybe a couple of other teams in that top 4 battle, the hardest team to go and play probably away in for 90 minutes and just based on your work rate that you're going to have to put in probably would be Leeds.
Yeah, the Ellen Road is long. Chelsea saw that at the start of the season.
I think they've got really athletic players, young players, hungry players that just put themselves about on a different scale, I think.
Definitely. And finally, the geezer I've been talking about every week for Leeds, Somerville, who should have scored 2 against us and should have scored loads of other tap-ins, has finally scored. So maybe now, when they bring on this geezer,
it's a case with
he scores.
It was a little too late for Leeds.
It was a little too late,
by that point, but good for him nonetheless. I think it must be only his first Premier League goal, maybe?
I think it is, yeah. I think it is. I don't think he's got any other... I'll just double check it to see. But no, yeah.
He'll be happy to get that in front of the Leeds fans. Won't be too happy about the result. But yeah, he gave the Leeds fans something to cheer about at the end of that game there, because they were 3-1 down. You get a goal in the 90th minute at home. You just think there could be something. And Leeds and Fulham, they have that about them where there is always late drama, I feel like. So
yeah, I think
they could have went and got an equaliser, I'm sure. But yeah, wasn't to be on that day.
No, again, yeah. And then when we're looking at the stats, again, another home team with more possession and losing the game.
Yeah.
58% to Leeds and only 42% to Fulham. Quite a lot of shots, to be fair, which is why I understand the game was quite high scoring. They got 14 shots for Leeds on total, and then we've got 11 shots in total for Fulham. Of those 11, we had 5 on target for Fulham, and of the 14, we had 5 on target for Leeds. So it made sense as to why the game was close, and it could have ended up 3-3. Why not? They had enough shots.
100%. I'd like to see this now, because I think XG does actually give a good indicator of the quality of chances. That's more what it indicates. The quality of chances that were actually in the game. Like we were saying, the Leicester game, they had low quality chances with low expected chance of scoring, but they managed to score. In this game, I wonder what it would.
XG is like kind of, is some people confuses me sometimes in terms of what is it actually used for, because when you talk about before a game, are you summing up all of the previous XGs and then dividing it by the amount of games you've played?
No, so basically, people you'd use it in different ways. Like you could, analysts, Sky Sports media companies, they just buy the stat after the game is done, basically, so that they can present that stat. Betting syndicates and stuff like that use XG from, like you're saying, past events.
And they divide it out to work it out.
Yeah, they find some kind of average, some kind of algorithm, and they work out teams that have, again, against each different opposition, who has the highest percentage chance of winning and stuff like that, based on previous XG scores.
That makes
because they're saying, in some book I've been reading recently, it's, I can't remember what the name of the fella is by, but the XG philosophy, probably the expected goal philosophy, a lot of people who watch football probably are aware of it, maybe have just heard of it. But they did an example of the United Arsenal game, where I think it was recently, 2019 or something like that. So see if you can find that fixture and what the score. I can't remember if it was 2-0 Arsenal or 2-1.
Who was at home?
I'm sure you were at home.
We were at home. We won 2-0
in 2019.
2019, yeah, 10th of March.
Yeah, I'm sure that was it.
Xhaka and Aubameyang.
Yes, that was it. So the XG, I think United that game had about, I'm sure it was over 2 expected goals in that game, whereas Arsenal's was about 1.2 or something, 1.3. One was, I'm sure Aubameyang had a penalty.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's XG, that's at least 0.75 straight away. That's what that chance of XG is. So you add 0.75 with a few other chances that you have, you add all of them up in it, and that's what gives you your XG score.
Okay.
And each chance is like, it gives you a percentage. So Aubameyang's penalty, for example, because it's a penalty, it's a dead ball, it will be taken on his right foot, the ball's not moving, it's not in the air, anything like that. It's about a 75% chance of scoring. Okay. That would represent 0.75 XG.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then you just add all of them up, and that's what gives you your XG score at the end of the game.
So not necessarily just because the XG is higher. Say, for example, now you said Man United's XG was higher.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that team's going to win, because based off the players you have, even though you have a lower quality of chance, they might score.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Because we've got a lower XG and we beat them 2-0. Do you get what I mean? Which means our chances might have been harder, no? That's why
Well, the other goal was a Xhaka from outside the area or something. It was
so like it's harder,
25, 30 yards, exactly. So, but they simulated it. They simulated that game. They took that game as an example and simulated it 100,000 times.
Okay.
With that same XG. If that same XG was achieved, who would actually win the game?
Okay.
They simulated it 100,000 times. Arsenal's win rate was like 22%. Man United's win rate was like 55%. And it was whatever the rest was, a draw, 30, whatever it was, 36.
And we won 2-0.
Yeah. But again, they're saying over 100,000 games played, Man United will win 56% of them with that XG score.
Okay, so there's still a high chance that they might not win.
And it kind of shows that luck is still a big part to play in football and stuff like that. And there's other reasons penalties get given that maybe shouldn't, or I can't remember that exact penalty on that day.
I can't remember.
But a multitude of things. But XG is kind of like the most competent way to say which team should have won the game. It's not going to tell you who did or whatever else, but it kind of who should have based on the quality of chances that they had.
That makes sense. That makes sense as to why, even though someone's lost the game, their XG would be higher.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because
it's not expected goals, isn't it?
Yeah. You can miss open goals. That could be 0.99. You know, that's probably happened. Like that Celtic game yesterday.
Yeah, they had a lot of chances. Yeah.
They remember the geezer took that touch.
Yeah.
Open goal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He came on. He took a touch. It's an open goal. It's been squared to him. He's tried to control it. He took a heavy touch.
So that's 0.99.
That should be. I wouldn't say 0.99 because again,
0.9 then at least maybe.
Something like that, like a high.
Because that was easy, and I would have scored that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, that's actually a good overview of XG. That makes sense to me now. That makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, we'll do XG for every game then. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think people kind of.
What was the full? Did you find the one for Leeds?
Yeah, so the Leeds one was 1.96.
Okay.
So for them to score 2 goals, you can't score 1.96 goals. So they pretty much exceeded.
They could have scored 1 or 2. Yeah.
They pretty much hit their expected goals for that game. Fulham was 2.48.
So you could have scored 2 or 3.
Basically, they were right in the middle of that 2 or 3. Maybe one of the chances that they did score, wasn't as easy as some of the other chances they missed, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they could have had an easier chance in the game that they didn't score, and then a harder one that they did.
That
So
makes
but you add them all up, and then that's what
balances it
score
out.
you get to.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So yeah, again, I think for this one, another 0 points for us. So great week so far. Absolutely great week. On to a game I don't really want to talk about for too long. I said 2-0, you said 2-0. I should have seen this coming. Southampton, Arsenal. I should have said, we haven't drawn yet. I should have seen this. We haven't
we were saying this, we kept on banging on about this.
You have to draw at some point.
On about this.
We're not
Draws
brilliant.
is what will kill.
Draws will kill a title chance. But luckily for us, you beat City.
And so City have already drawn a couple themselves.
So we're all right in the fact that we drew, but...
Not too many more.
No.
You can't be not too many.
No.
If you start going into the territory of 5-6 draws, you're getting into...
Against you, against City, against United, against Chelsea, against Spurs. No, not against Spurs, we're beating them. Against them teams I said, I'll take a draw. Southampton, I'm not taking a draw. Come on.
It's been well, historically, if you look, it's been and other teams.
They always beat us. They beat us a lot.
It's difficult to go away to Southampton.
Yeah, it is.
You should have won the game for me. Again, that's not going off like XG or anything. That's just from what I saw in the game. Interested to see what it was. But Jesus, again, like a handful of chances.
Loads of chances. Should have scored.
Someone should have been sent off. That fella should have been sent off. You should have had a penalty for me in that game. Like a lot of things did not go your way. But this is the type of things that can happen. Sometimes games have gone your way and you've won and you've come out the other side of it. This is the flip side of that coin where things don't really go your way. And you kind of.
But we should have taken it into our own hands though. We could have won it. The thing that we've done now, and I've noticed it after the Leeds game and I noticed it after this game, was the fact that we haven't been turning up in the second half. Like the second half for me is poor against Leeds and again poor against Southampton. We did nothing in the second half apart from they scored against us. We did nothing in the second half. It was horrible to watch. Like
that was similar to the Leeds again, then, isn't it? Really, like a good first half.
That's what I'm
where
saying.
You could have scored a couple more.
Yeah.
And in the second half, just tailed off.
And luckily, we escaped Ellen Road, which I would have not rathered it, but I would have been more accepting to the fact that at Ellen Road we drew, but maybe not at Southampton.
Yeah.
What is it? St Mary's Stadium.
St
Mary's. Yeah, I would have wanted to beat Southampton definitely, but 60% possession to us, 40% Southampton. We've had 12 shots in total. They've had 10 shots. Horrible shots on target. Both of us free. So the XG is probably going to be bad, to be honest with you. Well, it will probably be low. It will probably be 1.5, 1.6. I'm guessing.
Yes, for you, yeah. So Southampton XG was 0.62.
0.6.
So they outperformed their expected goals by scoring.
They've outperformed.
And yours was 1.58.
And we kind of got what we were expecting.
You had a couple of chances in the box.
Jesus picked up the ball loads of times in the box, but didn't really do anything with it. It was frustrating. It was very frustrating that game. But if you don't mind, we can move on. We both got 0 points. I don't really want to talk about this one any longer. I want to watch our next game where we probably play rubbish again. On to the next one. We have got Aston Villa versus Brentford.
And this is another one, man. This is another Leicester.
Was mental. This is
just not expected. And if Villa are scoring 4, you would have expected Brentford to score 1.
This was mental. 4-0 Villa. By 10 minutes, they're 2-0 up. By 15 minutes, they're 3-0 up. And my tip has worked. Danny Ings has grabbed 2 and got a yellow.
There you go.
My tip has finally worked. Finally, it's coming on a game.
And it must be frustrating for like managers. Not obviously Gerrard more recently, but he left like a couple of days before this game.
Yeah.
And then they go out and turn out a performance and score 4 goals, 3 in the first 15 minutes.
Probably a better team.
Arguably, yeah, but even just scoring 4 in a game is just like, and I don't know how managers would feel about that, innit? How
they must feel sad
because it just seems to happen. There seems to be this new manager syndrome where a new manager comes in, even just as a temporary, just to like steady the ship whilst they sort out getting a new manager, and the everyone has just left. The team just seems to win their first game, or they just seem to add. So I don't know what it is. Is that a sign from the players that they didn't enjoy what was going on with Gerrard? I don't know what that shows. It doesn't look good to me. I don't know why. I just don't. Yeah.
My guess for that one, because you can never be right, but my guess is that kind of equals to me that they're just playing well because they want to get in the team. And then once they've got in the team, it's like, I'm here now. Maybe. I'm getting paid the same anyway.
As a new manager, maybe you want to impress the new manager now, but still.
But they've probably played, and the worst thing is about that I'm seeing from Steven Gerrard's point of view, is they've probably played a very similar team to he's played.
Yeah.
And they won 4-0.
Yeah, and it was, like I say, I think 2 days or something. So what is that new manager going to come in and do in them 2 days? Like,
can't do anything.
Barely anything. You're just going to
draw some
a bit of motivation. You know you're good enough players. You can go out and do this. Whatever else. Use your spill. Like, there couldn't have been much that could have been done in them.
I think the only thing that I can see from looking at the formation is they've actually stuck Ings up top and kind of moved Watkins aside. Because when Gerrard was there, Ollie Watkins was always up the top, really, wasn't he? And he kind of didn't really affect the game. So maybe by winging him into that winger position, they've kind of allowed Danny Ings to come in, who scored 2. One of them was a pen, I believe. Yeah. And then Ollie Watkins probably does affect the game more down the side because he's pacey.
Yeah, it could be a problem for wingers if he plays off the right or off the left. Bailey's another good player. He got a goal.
I like Buendia as well. Douglas Luiz, I like.
But then, strange to say, there was no John McGinn in that team. There was no Jacob Ramsey in that team. No Coutinho in that team.
That's true.
So
he's changed a few things, then, isn't it? After a couple
of players have come out, and he's got. I thought McGinn was probably an experienced head. I thought you would have played McGinn maybe instead of Buendia, but he's gone for more of an attacking team, and it worked out. He scored 4 goals.
It's worked. They're still playing that absolute hero at the back, though.
They ain't got a choice, but I think Mings is probably one of the worst centre backs in the Premier League for me.
Yeah,
one of the worst. Just watching him, you just don't know where his head is at 85% of the time, 90% of the time. And then I don't know if it was in this game, it was another game where he saved one off the line, and you're just like, hey, Mings is awake. He's here. He's actually here playing with the rest of us. It's hilarious. Such a strange player, man. For someone so physically adept, he's quick, he's strong, but he has no brain. I don't know what it is. Like, literally. He's not great on the ball either, to be honest with you.
No, he's not. His passes are shocking sometimes as well.
But yeah, Mings is a strange player. I think Gerrard stripped him of the captaincy. Again, those little details can make a difference in the dressing room. And someone like Mings might have quite a presence. He might be quite a presence in the dressing room. Do you know what I mean? Amongst the other players. And if you go and upset that, even by just giving it to someone who probably is a presence as well in John McGinn, but not as much and hasn't been there for as long. So you don't know how these little things actually affect.
I think he's very much been protected by Gerrard in the fact that he's brought Young in to kind of... Because Young's... Obviously, he's going to bomb up and down sometimes, but he's getting to that age now where he's probably just like, the same as Milner, I'm just going to sit back here.
But is Digne injured, or is he playing Young because he has to play Young?
I think
he's playing Mings because he has to play Mings.
Yeah, because Mings is horrible.
They sang that Carlos from Sevilla, who quite a few teams were after. He was supposed to be decent.
Got injured.
He's injured for the whole season, so then it's just like...
That's kind of killed Gerrard a bit as well.
Yeah, I think, and especially when you strip Mings of captaincy, you don't really want to... You're not looking at him as part of your plans.
You're going to reinstate him,
and he has to play, and it's like he has to be on the pitch not as the captain as well, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, that could cause a rift in the... Yeah, there could be a lot of things going on behind the scenes, which is why sometimes football is not just about stats.
Nah, there's humans, isn't it? That's what I'm saying, but they're not robots, and they're running the simulation, like I was saying, about 100,000 times and stuff. That's
still robots.
That's a computer, innit? That's not accurate as to how it will play out 100,000 times in the real world. That's what
it's true. It's true. But yeah, great result for Villa. It's good to see them winning because I like not because Steven Gerrard was there, but I like Villa before.
That's what I'm saying. They got a good team. They got some good players and they're good individuals. Like I said again, they just need. I don't know what they need. But yeah,
you don't want to see this.
What?
19 shots in total for Villa.
Yeah.
12 for Brentford. 11 of those shots out of the 19 for Villa were on target, and only 3 were on target for Brentford out of the 12. So you're kind of not giving yourself the chance.
No. And it's not the worst It's not the worst score in the world at, what's that, 25%. It's not the worst.
25% of the shots that you're taking are going on target, but then of those 25%, they've not been good enough to score.
Yeah. But then, so I've got XG here as well, and they're saying Aston Villa is 3.46, with Brentford being 1. So with them chances all added up, Brentford should have scored 1. They underperformed their XG. Aston Villa slightly over outperformed it. Yeah,
which is probably a pen as well, isn't it? Really,
well, pen is a big
chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, great game. It was good to see Villa get back to winning ways.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like seeing them lose.
Yeah, I didn't really like it to be like that, especially 2 days after Gerrard left. Didn't like them to actually go out and smash Brentford like they did, because it's just a bit like, well,
you could have done it before.
Where was these performances before, innit? But strange one. I don't know. Players. But
then, as you're saying,
have a lot more control than managers seem to do these days. They can turn up when they want. Managers need to be on the ball 100% of the time.
Yeah, but as you said before, I didn't think they made that many changes. But you're mentioning missing McGill. What's his name? McGinn.
You're missing
Jacob Ramsey. Coutinho. So you're missing he's obviously looked at training and thought, I don't need them. The other players can do a better job, and it's worked, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't know if it's going to work this week.
Someone like Ramsey, I would always play Ramsey. I think he's another one that could be playing for a top 6, top 4 team in the future. Douglas Luiz, he's quite young as well. He's a decent player, but he's very inconsistent for me.
Yeah.
Maybe they just went with a bit of consistency and Dendoncker. Because sometimes you don't know what you're going to always get from Ramsey. He's a bit more of a luxury player of a centre midfielder, isn't it? Whereas Dendonker's more industrial and will just stick to tasks, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're going to say that McTominay's at one end of the spectrum and someone like Kevin De Bruyne is at the other for centre mids, then Jacob Ramsey sits probably more along the Kevin De Bruyne side. You get what I mean?
Well,
in terms of attacking and creativity, not the quality, just two ends of the spectrum. Because McTominay just sits back. Really gets bored sometimes, but he's definitely been told by the manager your role is here.
Players, like someone like Dendoncker would have a similar role like that, especially with playing alongside Douglas Luiz, who is the more creative out of them two players.
Yeah, definitely.
So having someone like Dendoncker just sticking to his task is good.
Definitely, but Villa fans are probably buzzing now to see themselves actually moving in the table.
Yeah.
Still a long way to go though. 15th and Brentford were 11th. So good win.
Good win. Things
Very
can turn around quickly in the Prem. You can be in the top half in no time, and you can be in the relegation in just as quick.
That's very true. For Villa, I think we got no points again because we're horrible at this. I said 2-0 Brentford and you said 1-1.
There we go.
So we got it wrong again.
Yeah.
Decent. Maybe one week we'll get a couple right. And to another game, I said 2-1 Tottenham. Should have been a bit more horrible to my rivals like I normally am. And you said 1-0 Tottenham. They actually lost 2-1 to Newcastle.
Yeah.
What a chip from Callum Wilson.
Yeah, it was
What
good.
is Lloris doing?
Lloris,
what is he doing?
That was a nightmare. I think
Soft.
It goes to show again what he's used to being protected for.
Yeah.
Basically, I think that's what that kind of called to.
Geezer thought he was in the World Cup.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about from goalkeepers being protected.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. At a World Cup, we would have got that.
No,
you don't think so?
No, well, probably yes. I'm just talking about in general. I'm not talking about World Cup. I'm talking about in Premier League, the Champions, every league.
Oh yeah.
Every league in football. At the minute, it seems like goalkeepers are so protected.
Yeah.
When they're the players that can do the most damage sometimes to other players.
I believe in the fact...
air, elbows when they're going up to grab the ball. They are the most protected players in the Premier League, goalkeepers.
They are the most protected players, but I believe in their box they should be. Once you exit that box, you are an outfield player, Geese. And if you're going to try and go on the floor for getting a little barge, it's not happening here. You want to get barge like that in your box and get a foul, the referee is up to him.
Nah,
but outside the box...
That's not a foul. If you run into... So in the penalty area, are we saying that is a foul to Lloris?
Nah. It should... No, but what I'm saying
would you give a penalty? Or what would you... You wouldn't go... It was nothing.
It depended on how the challenge was, isn't it? Because if Ollie Watkins was if Callum Wilson was running towards Lloris and Lloris has somehow cleared the ball from his box and Callum Wilson's momentum has gone into him, sometimes it's a foul, no? When the player's momentum goes into the keeper. We've seen it given.
Yeah, that's what is more tending to my point.
Yeah.
Keepers are the most protected players in
But football. I think they should be in the box. They should be, to some extent, they should be.
No, not... Well, I don't know, man. You need to look at these issues more case by case because you breathe on a goalkeeper and That's it. It's a free kick.
Yeah, no, that I don't agree with.
Do pretty much anything.
That I don't agree with. But the fact that as soon as they exit the box, they should be deemed as an outfield player and lose that sense of protection. That makes sense to me.
I understand that.
Because I feel like
but that's what I'm saying. For me, that's what Lloris doesn't think like that.
No, he obviously not.
Keepers in general don't think like that.
No.
They still think if they exit their penalty area, they're still a goalkeeper. Obviously, they're not going to pick it up with their hands. But in terms of collisions with players and stuff, they probably feel like they would get more leeway than the opposition player.
Yeah, that makes sense. But that's how we should explain it to them then.
What do you mean?
As in, like, you can't come out of your area and now pick up the ball and throw it. So why do you now think you can come out of your area and get a soft foul? That's not how it works. You can't pick up the ball out there.
I'm sure I've been said to them numerous times, isn't it? But it doesn't matter.
Clearly not, because he went down soft.
But Lloris, that's kind of it's feeding into my point in it. Like, keepers do that. They get a touch, the slightest touch.
Yeah.
And they get a free kick for it.
Yeah, that makes
sense. So he just feels like that is the norm, innit? He's come out of his box. He's made the mistake. He's tried to get a free kick for it, for his mistake, which most occasions probably would have been given. But again, rightly it wasn't this time. Finally it wasn't. And hopefully keepers don't get as much protection as they usually do.
I think the only reason what's leading me to believe that keepers get as protected as they do is the fact that they're, like, what's the right word? Like, the risk assessment done on a football pitch would lean more towards the keeper being the most at risk, because most of the time they're jumping up to collect the ball.
Yeah.
And if you touch them slightly, it should be a foul because they can break their neck.
Just as many times as a keeper jumps up to catch the ball, people are jumping up to a head of the ball.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But then you're seeing a lot less.
They wear gloves. They've got more protection.
No, I know that, but no one's going up with their hands on it. That's why they. No,
I know, but you're still going up, and it's similar. You're still going up, and you're going up to quite a height, and a fall, and any touch from anyone can set you off your path and be very painful.
Yeah, and those are normally given as fouls though. Outside, if I jump up with you and lean into you with my elbow, I'm gonna get a foul. You're gonna get a foul, sorry.
I don't think so.
I think a lot of them are normally given. I think sometimes you can't see
what keepers get given fouls for, and what outfield players get given fouls for. In the similar exact thing what we're talking about, it's night and day. Outfield players will get nothing compared to what keepers get. Nothing.
I get what you mean, but I think there still is that line that the FA or whoever's given these keepers protection has said they need it. I'm not someone who's done the research.
I don't know. Yeah, but that just
I don't know why they're protected like that.
Premier League players especially are protected as well. Obviously, you can barely go full-blooded into a challenge anymore.
Not now. Yeah.
You just can't do it in it. So
you'll get sent off.
Everyone is more protected, but now keepers for me are just so much more protected. So,
but I think that was a good, like, what we're saying is they're definitely protected. Yes. Yeah, it's good.
It's good to see that keepers ain't just going to be. You're not allowed to do that. You made the mistake. You've run into him. You've kind of initiated the contact almost. So what do you want?
Yeah, you can't move out of the way at that point. You're running into him. There's no way you can move. And then Almiron, good goal again. Almiron's just keeps steaming it. He's like Xhaka. They must be drinking the same stuff at this point.
I don't know. Again, he's another one that we need to check his blood. That's for sure.
Yeah, Xhaka, he's definitely on something, that kid.
Check his blood. But Almiron's always been that kind of player where he buzzes about.
Just active. He just runs everywhere.
Any end product to his game whatsoever.
But now he's scoring.
I mean, players, we've said this before, players go through these purple patches. Almiron isn't a player that I admire one bit, to be honest. Very good work rate. He is a complete workhorse. Doesn't have the ability. I can't see him being at Newcastle with this new regime for too much longer. Like starting and having the role that he currently does have.
Potentially, I think if he continues
his work rate, you can kind of sometimes give up his technical ability for his work rate.
Yeah, I think, and I've seen some crazy finishes from him, like that volley that came over his shoulder. Yeah, that was unbelievable. Like, he has moments, innit?
It can happen. It can happen to him.
He has moments. I don't know if he is going to stay there, but yeah. And then Harry Kane, 54th minute, grabbed a goal, and you would have thought that at the lane they would have tried to kind of forge some sort of comeback.
Being 2-0 down and then being the only goal scorers in the second half, Spurs should have been able to kick on and got the equaliser. They got the 2-1 early on, 10 minutes after half time.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, okay, you get another one in, the next 20 minutes, you're 2-2.
Yeah, you go nick a winner.
You're going to win the game for the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever it is.
Go nick a winner. And then looking at the stats, just looking a bit deeper, we've got 53% possession for Tottenham and 47% for Newcastle. Again, home team, this time they have more possession and they still ended up losing. We've seen away teams have, way less possession and win. So there's been a big mix.
Not away teams, both home and away teams.
No, I'm saying away teams have had less possession and still won. If you get what I mean. So there's been weird ends like where the home team has had more, but they've lost.
Yeah.
When they should win, and it's been opposite.
That's what
away.
Possession, I think, as we're showing throughout this whole thing, it means something, but it doesn't mean everything. It certainly doesn't mean you're going to win a game.
No, because you could have. I could play against you, and I could have 99% possession and be awful, where you had one and score. I'm just giving you a good example. That is possible mathematically.
No, it's not. I don't think so.
99% possession. Mathematically,
over 90 minutes.
And
you think you're going to win a game with 1% possession?
Yeah, you could score. I could miss everything.
You could, but no.
But that we're talking about mathematics, isn't it? I'm not saying it has. I'm talking about mathematics.
And but that's not a good.
I'm just giving it is a good example because you can have 1% possession and still score.
Possession.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Someone could go up the pitch 99% and miss every single chance. I kick the ball from my keeper. I take 2 passes and score 1 goal, and they've had 202 passes. That's 99% to 1, and I've won. Mathematically, that works.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Maths works.
Yeah.
The reality is 0.
Yeah, obviously, because football, you're going to have to there's lines of defense to break down. But I'm saying mathematically.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone have less than 10% possession.
No, I've seen that. I've seen that 8% possession. I've seen 8%.
And what was the score?
We'll have a look in it because it's quite fun to see. 90%.
I think Celtic was probably the lowest I've ever seen, and they won.
They've probably had 5% possession against City.
Look, this is it as well. The Celtic Barcelona game.
See that 90% possession, and they had 10, and they still won.
Yeah,
and that's against Barcelona. It's only
that's the one game that I can remember in it. The one game, literally.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not talking. I'm not saying that it has happened. I'm just saying that using maths, innit? You can find them. You can find that in terms of it doesn't matter what possession is, isn't it?
90%. Okay, I can understand.
Yeah. No, but obviously you're talking about in a football world, innit? I'm just saying in a general world, innit? Someone can have 1% of something and still win.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying. You're talking about in football. That makes sense for 90% to be the threshold. But yeah, 81%.
That is
81% City had against Arsenal. I mean, they won 5-0.
There you go.
They had 81% possession. 81.1 was Chelsea, and Chelsea recorded their highest possession percentage in Premier League game against Newcastle. Maurizio Sarri oversaw 2-1 over Rafa Benitez. Yeah, so they won 2-1.
Yeah.
Man City against Swansea, it's going to be 8-0. 83% possession. They won 5-0 again. Yeah. They love it.
Yeah.
Spain versus Sweden. They had 85.1.
Yeah.
Probably guess they won that game as well. It doesn't actually say what the score was.
It said a goalless draw.
Goalless draw. See that? 85% possession.
You said win.
Huh?
You said win.
Win, yeah. I'm saying win. No, but you're speaking specifically about football though, innit? I'm speaking specifically about maths.
Specifically about sports, I would say in general. Anyway, that doesn't matter. 99%.
That's what I'm saying, innit?
Happen in football.
No, it's not going to happen in football. Not going to happen in football. It will be very rare for that team to win as well.
And to win, impossible. No, impossible. Impossible.
It has to happen now before I die, and then I'll be happy.
Impossible.
And then this was the Barcelona. It said they didn't have 90%; they had 89%, and they lost 2-1.
Yeah,
That was the one that the geezer lost.
Tony Watt, innit?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember Tony Watt scoring.
Tony Watt. He scored both of them, though.
I don't think he scored both.
He not scored both. That would have been brilliant. I need to see this now.
Look, 955 passes to Celtic's 166.
That is mental, I tell you.
But you look at the difference now with Barcelona. Look at them 3 games. We just got up.
Yeah, 7-0,
2-0, 3-1. That's what I'm saying.
I can't remember this. Yeah, Tony Watt. Yeah, I remember this. I think he does just score the winning goal. I can't remember who scores the other one. But yeah, no. It makes sense as to why possession might not lead to that team's going to win, innit? You know what I mean? We were on the Tottenham game.
Mad, innit? That's what we're saying as well.
Yeah, it can't be too mad. Yeah, no. Yeah, 99% possession of football games.
No, even but that's like no. We're not using that. We use the Barcelona example.
What's that? 89%,
and you lost, and you still lost having 89% possession. That's probably the max that it could.
That's mad.
And
That is
that's like a 1 in a million game as well, almost.
True. And 85% for Spain and drawing 0-0.
Yeah.
That's mad. For Spain as well, who would have been really good. That's actually crazy. Last game of the weekend was West Ham Bournemouth. We watched this game.
Yeah. Parts of it.
It
It was a championship game in the first half. To be quite honest.
It was horrible.
And I got fed up a bit.
Horrible. I said 1-0 to West Ham, and you said 3-1. You got the difference, right? It was 2-0 West Ham.
Yeah.
So we both kind of went for a West Ham win. They've got it over the line at home. Not as convincing as probably West Ham fans would have liked to see.
West Ham haven't been.
3 points in it?
West Ham haven't been convincing at all. They look quite stagnant. They've scored a few goals now, but it doesn't always look clear where the goals are going to come from with West Ham. They're a hard-working enough team, but they lack quality. Me. Like if you go through that starting 11.
Starting 11?
Yeah.
Fabianski.
He's not even their first choice goalkeeper.
Johnson.
Ben Johnson. I don't know if he's even their first choice.
He's good at defending, but he's not good at the other end.
Going forward, he's lacking going forward.
Definitely lacks that. Zuma, I like Zuma.
Zuma's good defender.
Kera, whatever his name is, the German defender that they brought in, he looks alright.
Alright, he's a bit of a head case. But
he is a bit of a head case. Cresswell, do you like Cresswell?
Who's their other left back? Did they not have someone else?
They did have someone else.
They got Emerson, innit?
That's it.
Oh, Mary, but I don't know, man. Cresswell probably does get ahead of Emerson. You haven't got great options at left back there for me, but Cresswell's a fairly consistent performer.
That midfield too, how you liking him? Rice and Souček?
Strong, physical, lacks quality. There's no Rice is. Souček can bring something different when it comes to set pieces and corners with his height, and he's got good finishing. He's good in that 6-yard box. He normally picks up scraps quite well from those different situations. Rice has. I think did he score on the weekend? No, he didn't score on the weekend.
It was the week before he scored when he won, yeah. He scored the winner, I think.
He's not the player that is supposed to give that much going forward. Do you know what I mean?
No,
he does everything up to that point. Is what his role seems to be in it.
Yeah.
So it's not. I wouldn't really expect too much. Again, he's a bit of a threat in the air, but doesn't score too many goals at all. So, you know.
And then the front three, you got Ben Rama, Downs, who played his debut against you. I think David Moyes brought him in, and then Bowen. Yeah. Of those three, I would just give my opinion. I only really like Bowen. I haven't seen enough of the Downs guy to say what level.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen much of Downs either, to be honest with you. So I have to just leave him to the wayside. Bowen is probably the best player in that front three.
I think he's the best player in their team.
On form anyway.
Would you not say he's the best player in their team, Bowen? Can you think of anyone else who's better?
Rice is probably the best player, I would say.
You say
if
best
I was to
player?
take anyone out of the team and put him in my team, it would be Rice over anyone else in that team.
Are you speaking from a Liverpool fan?
By far as well.
I like Bowen though.
Yeah,
I like him. I think he affects the game, and if he had better players around him, I think he'd bring a lot to
That's
the
the
game.
thing, he could, innit? He could. And I'm sure if he keeps going the way he is, he will get that opportunity to play around better, more higher quality players.
I could see him at Chelsea.
Can do things when sometimes he's not as on song. Because if Bowen's not on song now, you're saying for West Ham, then where are they going to get the goals from?
Yeah, done.
Do you know what I mean? Ben Rama, his whole West Ham career has been inconsistent.
Up and down.
Yeah, literally. He was an exciting one as well when he came from Brentford. Samaka, still have to give him time. He's scored a couple of goals so far. Not 100% sure what he's going to give over the course of the season. But
he's supposed to go PSG, wasn't he?
Who's Samaka?
Yeah, he's supposed to get tipped to go Scamacca or something like that. I'm sure he was tipped to go PSG and then West Ham nicked him. It just shows you the quality of the Premier League. People that are not even winning anything.
Yeah, but then PSG, you're going to go, what was he going to do at PSG?
No, because I think Mbappe wanted to play on the wing and he wanted a striker.
Yeah. But still, you have to drop someone out of PSG for him.
Yeah, Messi or Neymar, it's not happening, is it? It's not happening.
So
he would have been a bench player.
Basically.
Came off the bench and scored headers.
He would have scored goals, he probably would have won a French league and stuff. It depends what you're after.
I could go there and win a French league, that's not what I want.
Yeah, well, I'm not too sure about Scamacca just yet, but the team, it lacks quality. It lacks quality and like precision,
Yeah.
clinical finishing,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like I don't see that from.
What's the XG for this game? I'll be intrigued to see, because West Ham for me are probably somewhere around about.
Flynn Downs had a good chance actually. That would probably be quite high.
Well, apart from that chance, that I don't remember that chance. I was going to say they'll probably be just over a 1 or just below a 1. So they've probably very much overachieved in terms of XG, in my head anyway. Bournemouth are probably like 0.7 or something. I can't see where Bournemouth are scoring from, to be honest with you.
Yes, well, no, West Ham basically achieved it. So West Ham was 1.98 and Bournemouth 0.73. So Bournemouth could have scored really by that. They've had a few chances where they could have scored, and West Ham pretty much scored the bulk of the key chances that they had. 1.98 and a 2 goal. That's basically bang on. So
yeah, exactly. But then when you look at the actual total shots, you got 20.
20 shots.
So they've had only 4 on target out of 20. So 16 have gone amiss, which is mental.
Which again shows, I think, what I'm saying about the quality, clinical finishing.
Yeah.
Like you're just taking pot shots, basically from that.
Yeah, or you're actually getting into a good space and you haven't got the quality to actually score properly to hit the target.
Yeah. They've scored, so there's again 50%. They'll take that 50% of their shots on target with goals.
Yeah, but then of that you've got about what's that? About 20% of the shots
are shots on target. So
from total, horrible. But then you exactly like you said, you like all football teams do, they take the stat that flatters them, that boosts them, and that boosts them up, which is the 50% of shots total on target. So
and I think the XG even it flatters them as well. To be fair, so for every 20 shots, you score 2 goals and your XG is 1.98.
Yeah.
Again, but then it clearly shows that they're not taking shots from like good areas or anything like that. You know, the chances weren't key chances or anything like that. So they did what they could do. They're just trying different stuff. Yeah.
Which probably in a fixture where you're looking at, you switch that to West Ham being away, you probably don't score any then. Yeah. Because you're not giving yourself a chance. Taking 20 and only 4 on target. It's hard. It's hard. But yeah, that wraps up game week 13. From this week, I actually took home 5 points because I got a correct score.
Big correct score.
That's a big jump for me, to be honest with you. And you took home 3 points. So at the moment, we're sitting only 1 point apart as we go into match day 14.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a pleasure as always.
Indeed.
I think hopefully we'll have another match day 14 video up this week.
Yeah.
Doing our predictions. And have a good one and we'll see you soon.
We'll see you again next time. Take care.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure hosting you. Have a great rest of your day and see you all again soon.